Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be discussing yet another Pokemon controversy, this time pertaining to the recent Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl leaks. Now, if you're looking for a video that sort of summarizes what exactly is going on with regards to the leaks, as in what we know in regarding how many Pokemon there's going to be, whether or not there'll be new forms, etc., feel free to check out this video from yesterday that will be linked below. Today, we're going to be more so discussing why the leaks have upset a lot of people and my thoughts on the situation as well. That said, let's dive in. Okay, so for starters, I'm not going to be showing any of the leaks here because it's one thing to talk about the leaks and it's a completely other thing to show the footage that was not meant to be seen. And I also like having a YouTube channel and not having Nintendo attack it, so yeah. Anyway, there have been various points of contention with regards to the remake due to the very nature of it. The general sentiment I see from detractors is that it simply just isn't up to snuff with other remakes based on content alone. So for example, Fire Red and Leaf Green brought forth the Sevi Isles, a really cool expansion to the games, a full national dex of 386 at the time, and stuff like that. Soul Silver brought forth the Safari Zone, which was originally cut, added the Gen 4 roster of 493, added a Battle Frontier, which was admittedly ripped from Platinum, but still much appreciated, brought back the Viridian Forest and some other areas like that, etc. ORAS, despite not having the Battle Frontier, did bring forth a lot of new story points with the Latios or Latias integration, depending on which version you played, the Delta episode. It had a roster of 721, new Mirage Islands, and more. Each of these games was also considered a mainline game in the sense that they were still used for VGC and had full National Dex rosters. They featured a ton of improvements over the originals and are more than just an optimization and a visual update. Now, a lot of people aren't happy with the Diamond and Pearl remakes because it seems like the team over at ILCA, spearheaded by Masuda himself, have decided to make the remakes quite quote-unquote faithful to the originals, but admittedly only in certain sections, which makes it quite strange. For example, and I did do a video going over this before, but the EXP share is the one from Generation 8 that can't be turned off, but the TMs are from the original Gen 4 in that they're single use. A lot of people are using the fact that the game exists within the same generation as 8 to justify the EXP share. However, I've seen a lot of people justify the single-use TMs by saying, well, it's just trying to be faithful. You can't have it both ways. More than all of that, we have confirmation that only the first 493 Pokemon are going to be available, making Pokemon BDSP have a same total roster as games like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or the original Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, which came out almost 15 years ago. But again, a lot of people are defending it by saying this is a faithful remake, and I do gotta say that this kind of misses the point that people are trying to make. Now, I will lend credence where credence is due. They have stepped up the contest and the underground and improved various other aspects of the game, but they've also managed to not have a Battle Frontier, which was highly requested after Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. They have the exact same teams from Diamond and Pearl down to the level, which is now not balanced because of the forced experience share. And overall, it just feels like the term faithful remake has been used to justify certain cherry-picked aspects of the game that either were not improved or in some cases were actually made worse. It almost feels like a defensive veil, if you will. Now, I'm someone that expected the games to be like this, so I don't really have the same reaction as other people who are upset about this do. They pretty much said, hey, the game's gonna be this way, so I don't know why a lot of people are surprised that there's no Mega Evolution or no Dynamax or anything like that. But I will say that the people who, like me, aren't outraged but do have some grievances with the way these games are being made are completely justified. I've seen the argument that the games are Diamond and Pearl remakes, not Platinum remakes, and that's what a remake is, to be exactly the same as the original, and honestly, it's super disingenuous and perhaps even ignorant to make that kind of argument. Heart Gold and Soul Silver were objectively better than Pokemon Crystal in pretty much every aspect. They had more content, more features, various improvements to the maps, and more. Even Fire Red and Leaf Green, games that didn't stray too much from the originals, still managed to add the Sevi Isles, the Trainer Tower, and a bunch of new Pokemon as well. So this idea that, well, it's not a remake of Platinum, therefore the game shouldn't be as good as Platinum or have as much content as Platinum is just foolhardy in my opinion. Platinum is supposed to be the definitive version and the best way to play a Sinnoh game, so if you want to try to make that argument, then I could easily retort that they should have just made a remake of Platinum then, instead of trying to cash out on those double packs. Now, let me say, I don't think the games are gonna suck. I think what's going on is people are disappointed that the games don't hold themselves to as high of a standard as Pokemon games once did. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys and say that some of the Pokemon remakes of the past are damn masterpieces. The amount of love and care that went into the Johto remakes, for example, is honestly something unprecedented in my opinion, and not something we commonly see in gaming. Now, moving away from that, I could go on about the price point and how these games are console games now, so they're going to be more expensive, and how it almost feels like these games were kind of just shoehorned in as a way to tie people over for the Legends Arceus release. But at the end of the day, I honestly don't think most Pokemon fans really care that much about the increased price if these games hold themselves to a higher standard, a standard that was actually set by the Pokemon company themselves. Okay, so now that I'm done explaining why people are justified in being disappointed and the fact that people are disappointed in general, I do want to say that people going on absolute tirades about this need to chill the hell out. The Pokemon company has made it abundantly clear through its recent releases that the new Pokemon formula is all about making sure they can get a game out every year, not having a national dex, and essentially not expanding on certain features or functionalities based on time restraints, and making sure everything works in order for the Pokemon merchandise to be shipped out on time. And I'm not saying this is justification and that they should do this, I'm just saying that this is a reality, and you can definitely voice your grievances about this, but to be surprised, I think, is a little bit foolhardy at this point, and definitely don't go around harassing game devs. As someone who's been a hardcore Pokemon fan since the first generation, all the way up to Gen 7, I had to say to myself, you know what, they're not catering to my tastes anymore, and clearly this taste in which I'm defining or explaining is a pretty common one because there is a lot of outrage surrounding recent titles. This is what in all actuality led me to the monster taming genre. There are a ton of monster taming games where you could battle and capture creatures, and a lot of them do try to capture what a lot of us older fans loved about some of the older titles. I've said this a million times on this channel, but there are so many different types of Pokemon fans, and I think that is the biggest reason why nobody can understand one another. For example, there's tons of people who don't care about the national dex, and that's why they're not disappointed. They don't care about some of the features that were cut in Sword and Shield, and some of the features that will be cut in BDSP, because that's not what they go to Pokemon for. Again, not a justification to cut out a lot of features, but that's just a reality of the situation. I do personally think that less love and time has been put into these games just because of the strict time restraints and deadlines, and yeah, that's definitely disappointing, and I don't appreciate them shortening the life cycle of each generation in order to pump out more merch. We've seen this since Gen 5, whereas the previous gens had more time. But it's also important to remember that these are executive decisions and not something that you can bash the developers on. I'm sure Ilka is working under similar constraints to Game Freak, and nobody should attack them on Twitter or on any sort of social media when these are decisions being made at the top. If you don't like the way the games are going, that's totally fine, but it's important to remain constructive when dealing with stuff like this rather than spamming people. Anyway, all in all, I think that if people are truly upset about the way Pokemon is going, then maybe they should try transitioning to another Monster Tamer game and see if maybe finding more monster taming games will help them out in filling that void that they feel is lost. For me personally, I grew up in a really rough situation, and I leaned very heavily on Pokemon as a coping mechanism to deal with real life and basically disassociate. Pokemon was literally my lifeline for a really long time, and it found its way into my life from very early childhood all the way until my adulthood. I had Pokemon so centralized in my mind and was so obsessed about each title that I think it escalated my disappointment about certain aspects of the game. I found that filling my life up with a lot of other monster taming games really helped with that though. That's just my own personal experience / example, but who knows, maybe someone else can sort of relate, and maybe trying other games as well might kind of help fill that void for them. Anyway, to wrap things up, I was not surprised by this news. Disappointed, yes. Surprised, no. Am I gonna go on a huge tirade on Twitter about it? No. Do I still want to play these games and see for myself whether or not I think that they are worth existing? Absolutely. I'm a content creator that has an obligation to play these kind of games to give you guys information that you need in order to make an informed decision. I personally really like Gen 4, so I think I'm still going to have fun playing these games despite being able to also say, hey, I don't like some of the decisions that are being made here, and I feel like there was more potential. So I really do hope that people are able to at least try to understand one another and not be so vitriolic about Pokemon in general. Feel free to let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Let me know if there's anything I said that you agreed or disagreed with, or that I should have expanded on further. These are just kind of like my off-the-cuff thoughts about everything, so I'm hoping that I did a decent enough job conveying my stance on the whole situation while also informing everyone about what exactly is going on. That said, I will be responding to comments as usual and clarify my points if needed. But yeah, if you do enjoy Pokemon or monster taming content in general, definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. You could also follow me on Twitter at GymLeaderEd or check out my subscriber Discord. All links will be in the description. Special thanks to the channel's patrons, especially Jim Hamilton and StealCase, our mythical tier backers. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.